And welcome back, everybody, to another special episode of the Careful Boys, where we're currently, Ryan?
Are we off the record? We're off the record.
Always off the record.
I love the confidence. That's right. Okay, so just some context. I know this video is going up a little bit later than some of the fans have been asking in the comments. We're going to talk about the Monterey Park and Alhambra shootings today. Just for context, when we shoot JK, for everybody who really follows us, we shoot these segments every other week. And that shooting had happened on the night of our last production shoot that day. So as everything, all the news was unfolding and stuff like that, we weren't going to get together until today, 2 weeks later, to finally talk about it.
Was it happening simultaneously? Like when you guys were eating, the news came up?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't see the news until after we went home after dinner.
I was caught in the traffic from the road closure due to that.
We were like a couple blocks away from the incident.
Yeah.
And then when I got back, and then I was in my bed, Ryan texted me and said, dude, are you seeing this Monterey Park shooting stuff? And I'm like, what? And then I started looking, and it was only like 2 live networks on YouTube and some like people live streaming it, and it just happened.
And you sent us the link in our text there of the guy who was live streaming it, and it was like one of those things where as information was getting pulled up, he was just reporting it in live, and that wasn't even regular news. That was literally a guy live streaming.
Because at 10:30 something, we were still standing outside on Valley kicking it with
So
David
when it
So and shit.
Right, when it happened, we were there. Like,
Yeah, we were just hanging.
Yeah.
After dinner.
That's crazy. I was, we're celebrating Chinese New Year with my mom, and we were gonna eat around here, but then my mom's vegetarian, so we're looking for a dumplings place because she's really just wanted dumplings. We ended up being in Fullerton, and then I came home. I think I just went straight to sleep, but at like 8 a.m. in the morning on the news, like I was like just like brushing my teeth, and that's when I heard. And I'm like, what the fuck? A shooting here? What the fuck?
Dude, I was watching a football game. I was in Vegas at my neighbor's house, just watching a football game, and then I hear, because his wife had local news on in the other room, and I hear Monterey Park shooting. I was like, what the fuck? Because like that's where we always come, and absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, that's where this office is located.
Yeah, so it's such a trip, dude.
and it's crazy because when it was all unfolding, like while I was watching the live, I'm like, these are the streets we grew up on, and like I was there, like I was at that intersection yesterday, or like it was like that corner where everything went down, and I'm like, what's going on? And they didn't even know like the full story yet. They knew that the gunman was on the loose. They knew like there was something about like a white van, and they didn't know where this person was. So then everyone was recommended to just like stay indoors and have their doors locked and stuff. They didn't know the motive or anything like that. So I was like, this is nuts. And there were people still out on the streets like looking and trying to record. And I'm like, yeah, I just thought it was weird. And like you hear all these stories, right? And then like, I think it's different when you know the streets and it's like home.
I could draw it from memory, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that intersection, I can draw the whole thing from memory.
Because originally everyone thought that it was, they were having a Chinese New Year event on the street. You know how they block off Garvey?
We did a video there before.
Yes, we did a JK video there. But some people thought that there was a like mass shooting at the Chinese New Year festival.
Timing wise, that's what it seemed like. Because I know, because I was celebrating Chinese New Year with my mom. I know they block off Garvey Avenue every single year. So when you hear shooting and you hear like the amount of people that were hurt or injured, because they didn't know that if they're dead just yet, your first go-to thought is, oh, this is a targeted attack. Yeah. That's your first go-to.
And then the next one after that, they go, oh, it's actually not the event. They said that it was a Chinese medicine shop that got shot up, and then like a couple people got hurt. And then so that was weird, right? Yeah. And then they took that out and they said, oh, it's actually the dance studio. And I was like, wait, what? But I remember growing up, we used to go to that place. It was a pool hall.
It was a pool hall.
And it was like riddled with gangs. Like there was always shootings there. So in my head, it wasn't that weird because I was like, oh yeah, there was a shooting. But then it's no longer a pool hall. It turned into like a restaurant and then a dance studio where old people do cha-cha. So then I was like, wait, why would there be a shooting there? That was the weirdest thing. Yeah.
I had a couple people like outside of my immediate circle that just heard like Monterey Park and dance studio shooting, so they were sending me texts about it.
Oh,
check in, yeah. And yeah, it's just such a weird thing to feel associated or feel close to something, you know what I mean? To the point where people are like, yo, check him, like, hey, have you heard about this? Like, are you okay? Or like, did anything happen at your spot or whatever?
I had friends that texted me too.
A lot of fans hit up the JK IG who know that we're in Monterey Park, and they were like, "Are you guys okay?" Like, wow.
So a lot of you know, I think when a lot of crazy news like that like hits the fucking public really fast, a lot of voices got, you know, out there, a lot of conspiracies got out there, a lot of misrepresentation got out there. What are some of the things that you guys heard or that like maybe caused a little bit of friction in the conversation of how this thing went about? Because I know that people were saying stuff like, this is like another Asian hate, but it's like, well, that's an old Asian guy, or like this must have been this because of that, you know what I mean? You were bringing up some
What's an
other
old
stuff.
Asian guy?
The shooter.
Oh, right.
They didn't know till later.
Yeah.
But
72-year-old Asian dude.
Right.
when I was searching for the news, like as it was unfolding, it was like there were so many different things going on, right? And then like I'm trying to get information from like news sources, but I'm going on Twitter, Instagram, just searching on Google. But then when I started seeing all of people's like reactions unfolding, man, people just made it about themselves. They just made it about like, oh yeah, me being Asian, and they wanted to talk about how Monterey Park has the most Asians, and I'm like, bitch, not only have you never been to Monterey Park, I've never seen you in this neighborhood, you know? Like, and then you want to act like it's yours? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's not about you. Another thing is like, all the Asians that came out talking about, oh, I bet it's a black dude, oh, I bet it's white supremacy, and it's like how do you,
How is that even-
how? And then like people wanted to debate about guns and all that shit, and I'm all like, it hasn't even been like 2 hours since the incident, and you're already fucking like causing all this stupid shit. But the most annoying thing was about how people made it about themselves, dude.
Yeah, and their own personal agendas.
Yeah, and it's like, what about the people that fucking died and got hurt and all that? Like, I don't know.
That was the part I think that pissed me off the most, was seeing people making it about their own personal agendas. And then people with these loud voices, what kind of sucks is there are a bunch of emerging heroes in the story that's naturally built in. Yeah. Like the older store owner who just came in and he was like, I heard gunshots, so I ran to the front, and then his life ended up passing because he pretty much like took one for the team. Then there's the Brandon Say guy who we see videos of him wrestling.
Which is a crazy fucking video.
Which is fucking.
That video is so nuts.
Like I shoot guns all the time.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of like combative experience, and I don't even know if I would have jumped in. You know, like, for him to just go, oh shit, like just take initiative. That's fucking crazy.
Nobody knows if they would do that.
No,
dude. That's
and then
fucking crazy.
the other thing too is the way that he was handling the old man, like, was so nice.
Yeah.
Like that's what was shocking to me, because if I was like, oh, this guy has a gun, like I don't know, I might be so scared to the point where I would murder him because he has a gun.
Yeah, he took it away and he goes, get out of here.
Yeah, like he was
shoving him
so
off.
like still chill about it.
They were like struggling for like, it felt like a minute, dude. That's a long time to be fighting for something.
Like that's the guy who can comment on other videos and go, I would have done this.
I did it.
But even like,
But how many of those are there?
Dude, the guys who say they would are the guys who won't do it.
no
Yeah.
fucking way. Even in all the interviews that I saw that Brandon guy in, it's like he's really trying to retell his experience, and it feels so honest. And he's not trying to milk it. He just like
He's not even trying to be a badass at all.
Yeah,
not
he's like, I was
dramatizing
scared.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
he just was like, yo, like I didn't know if I was gonna actually do anything, and I felt like I had to, but it was like it just feels so honest, and you're like, man, what a guy, dude.
You know what doesn't feel honest? When Biden calls him. You just see that video?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that was stupid.
But he's getting, you know, what I do like about it though is that he's actually getting the props and notoriety that he should, and it's not being hijacked like from another story.
I've never seen Biden more racist than that phone call.
What happened in the phone call?
Because he keeps emphasizing, yeah, you're finally. I mean, you are one of us. You're one of us. So just want to let you know you're you're American. I've never said.
There was a lot of like weird breaks in that.
Yeah, like his cadence was like almost like.
He's falling asleep on the
Fucking
phone,
chick,
dude.
I don't want to say this, but I have to.
He probably didn't even know who he was talking to. That's why.
I guarantee it. Yeah.
But I just hope, like, one thing I do hope is that this, like, Brandon seems really like, hey, the aftermath of when you do something like this is not what you think. how he was like kind of saying like I don't feel like a hero. I just like he was saying like there's like an anxiety.
Fuck yeah.
He's like I hope he gets like the mental like health.
There's PTSD for sure,
For
dude.
sure, dude.
That's the main thing. Like, dude, he did a good thing.
He's the man.
You see Newsom went to his house and shit, and then all the
Newsom.
Asian there's like photos of him at Brandon's house, right? They're like talking and shit, and then they circle Newsom's shoes. They're like, this motherfucker wearing shoes in his house.
That is fucked up. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Nikki was just showing me some video of some guy in, like standing somewhere, and I couldn't take my eyes off the fact that he had his shoes on an area rug. I was like, this motherfucker.
Did anybody hear anything about like the shooter or his motives or anything like that?
I was getting kind of play-by-play because I have a friend that works in the police department. So he gets like the news maybe about an hour or two before it reaches like the TV stations. So he told me like the white van, I think it was found in Torrance or something, right? Yeah. And then they said when they came up on it, they saw that the driver already passed away. They think he took his own life or whatever. And then I think it's tough because when you have situations like this, you're always trying to reverse engineer the motive. You know, is it like a angry guy that's like his wife cheated on him, or like what's the reason? Like you just don't know, and then why did he end up killing himself? So it's like you just get play by play, but I think till this day, do we know what the real story?
I heard
There's an update, like the official update I think is that he got kind of ostracized from the dance studios.
Yeah.
And then so he wasn't invited to something or whatever. And then so he's always been kind of weird and aggressive. And I think the dance studio was his only like place of like where he belonged.
Yeah.
And then after a while, because of that, it might have been like, well, fuck these guys.
There is also like just in that month prior, he went twice to the police station in Hemet where he'd moved into a trailer park and claimed his family had defrauded and tried to poison him. So like he's just got apparently this paranoid worldview of stuff, you know what I mean, in general.
We had a friend whose aunt was one of the people that had died.
Oh,
and then
shit.
they said that this guy was just always really weird.
Yeah.
He's just one of those people like when you go to a place and you're like something's wrong with that dude, you know, but you don't want to discriminate.
He's like the school shooter that's just a senior citizen.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's the vibe. It's like, you know, we don't want to like make people feel bad or feel like ostracized, but there are some signs of like this dude's not right.
Yeah, I mean, he like 30 years prior, he had like he was taken to jail for having a concealed weapon that he didn't have like a license for or something like that. And
Dude, that was a crazy gun he had.
Yeah.
It didn't
They're-
look like
they're
a
not
normal
legal.
gun, right?
It's actually
it was like a Uzi?
It was actually really rare.
Was there like
Yeah.
a suppressor?
Yeah.
It was like the longest gun I've
Yeah,
ever
it was
seen.
actually really rare because as soon as I heard they were talking about how it was an assault pistol, I'm like, assault?
Oh my god.
That's a new term, dude. Oh my
I was like, what the fuck is an assault pistol?
That's
so I
real,
asked my
dude.
friend, and then they're like, technically it is because it's like a Mac 10, right? So it's like 9 millimeter. It is technically a pistol, but no one in the industry calls it that. So they're kind of like just throwing terms together.
Because they couldn't, because it wasn't an assault rifle,
Yeah.
so they couldn't
Say assault rifle, but they want to make it scary still.
Yeah.
So they throw another term together, but then that has never been categorized in the industry as an assault pistol.
And that gun is illegal. You can't get that in California.
Is it a ghost gun?
No.
But it's illegal though. You can't get it.
It's like a Mac 10 with a suppressor.
So it's an automatic pistol.
You're saying no amount of legislation would have prevented him from having
But we need a new law, a new one.
Well, the thing that was pissing me off too is like when I was watching the interview in the morning with the police department, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the police department was trying to give accounts, and then this fucking journalist kept going, what was the caliber of the bullets? Was it an assault rifle? What kind of assault rifle? Well, and then after it
love
was
that
like,
term, dude.
he goes, no, it wasn't. It was just a handgun, and they were like,
What sucks is that's the part that muddies the actual solution, because the real, like, I guess, illness and symptoms we're trying to cure is the disgruntled guy, someone that got ostracized from a dance studio, his family like kicked him out, he's living in a trailer park, like he's down in the dumps, right? It's the like classical anyone that's about to do something drastic, regardless if it's school shooting or bombing or whatever, like these are the exact same symptoms. So if you can troubleshoot these symptoms and catch people and help people get better, you'll prevent violence regardless of how it manifests.
Right.
But they're so focused on this that we'll never fix
make
this.
What's the this? Like gun control and stuff?
Control stuff. Because you take the guns away, this motherfucker will get in his white van, he'll just drive straight through the studio. Same like we see this in every other country. Europe, Scandinavian countries, all these countries that have really strict gun laws, they not only still have gun violence, they have stabbings and they have fucking driving into people. And so the more we kind of focus on this fake target, we never solve the like real problem.
But why do you need an assault van?
Because they're fun, I guess. I don't know.
That's why the like when you look at the root or when you look at the common denominator of a lot of these people, there's a very big like a social abandonment and a paternal abandonment. And when you look at how rare it is to see these in Asian communities with Asian people, there's like, look at this case. This guy's family is non-existent. He has no friends probably. And so like in that light of like, it's not just a random person who just happened to have a gun. It's like, look at his life story.
Yeah.
Like most Asian people kind of have a prioritized value with family health.
Yes.
And you kind of have this accountability with each other, and you're less prone to do crazy shit when your family is in good health with keeping tabs on you.
Yeah.
This dude didn't have that anymore.
Nope, that's why.
There's nothing else to like to
was too
function
weird.
with. Yeah.
It is weird how, like, you know, growing up, I remember anytime somebody did something like the Columbine shooting and all that stuff, every time the news would get, like, talk about their stories, my reflex is always like, don't talk about their story, right? Like my reflex is always like, I don't want to know, because it's almost like it raises people to like be able to do that, to lash out, and then everyone finds out about them, they become famous for it.
Yeah, like there's more copycats.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, but then when I, you know, as I've grown older, I realize like it is important to try to get to the root of these problems, and I think that the mentality of like we shouldn't try to understand them at all is sort of like the you know, psychology, like learning about how serial killers' minds work instead of trying to just say we shouldn't talk to them at all. Why would you want to talk to them?
They're crazy.
Yeah, it's like you should try to figure out what the fuck is going on so we can help to find other ones, but also so we can try to solve the problem.
Because the patterns are kind of similar, right?
But then at what point does somebody understand a checklist of patterns where they're like, all right, they have this symptom, this symptom, this symptom. I should stop them before something happens. Like, you know what I mean?
It's wild.
Like,
Well, I mean, something is affecting, you know, men over the age of 60. Also, with the high rate of suicide. Also, with the high rate of like mental health and issues. Like, we talk about our shit. We don't do it as good as maybe Gen Z. Millennials do talk about it, but Gen X and Boomers and they don't even understand the concept or understand how to self-reflect or do a lot of that stuff. So then the older generation, especially like in you know, like the Asian community too, like right after this shooting, there was another one a couple days after in fucking NorCal.
Right?
Yeah, at the farm, and it was my friend knows those
it's a
that
mushroom farm,
Yeah,
right?
it's a mushroom farm. It's a competitor of
Crazy.
So I was like, back to back, and especially like mass shootings in the Asian communities doesn't happen. It happens to us. It happened to us, but it doesn't happen with a Asian shooter, I guess.
And it could just be around the Chinese New Year where like your loneliness is kind of like exaggerated now.
Yeah.
/ groups are like together as well.
Yeah, and I understand that you can't legislate people to become better families, so that they're just doing, the law has to do what they can where they can affect it. But really, the key for me is just you take care of your own fucking people.
Yeah.
Like the people 1 degree away from you. And if everybody did that a little bit more, you would definitely have less this shit.
Yep.
You know, but again, like some people can be such assholes that their family abandons them. That too, you know? Or some people can be such dicks that eventually they're homeless and no one wants to care about them. Yeah, some people are that garbage too. But again, the only responsibility before it becomes society's job is family. Like, you have to.
I think what pisses me off the most about all these situations all the time is the conversations that are being had are always comes off as useless because one, the media doesn't do a great job. They're just looking for clicks. They're just looking for like the story, right? So if it's not like a white guy coming into an Asian neighborhood because white supremacy and like a mass shooting, then it doesn't make national headlines.
Right.
If it's like if it has to have that, like, oh, what's hot right now? You know what's really
Race
hot?
wars.
Race wars is hot. We gotta fucking do that.
It's always hot.
You know what's hot right now is using AR-15s. So we need the shooter to use that gun so we could talk about it. And then if it doesn't hit those talking points that they like, and it's not that important, then they just won't do it.
Yeah.
And then they try to twist it. They try to twist it like they did with the assault pistol. And I'm like, dude, you're missing the point. Now you want to talk about assault pistols all fucking day, and then it's gonna continuously happen because we're not really getting to the root of anything.
And the most boring answer that doesn't make money for anyone is be better families.
Yeah.
That truly is an awful message.
Right? Yeah.
For monetizing, right? Like imagine titling this video that.
Be better
You don't
families.
have to buy anything. You don't gotta click anything. Just be a better family.
That's the person that gets his ass kicked in the like NBC fucking writers room. They're like, race war title, hate crimes, whatever. Like, hey, what about be better family? You're fucking fired. Get the fuck out. You're not making us any money.
Because that's where it all begins, right?
Because I remember right when I heard about the shooting, the narrative was like he was looking for his wife, and it was like a big deal. Like he was, like she was like cheating on him or something. So is that story not even true at all?
I found out later it's his ex-wife or something, right?
Oh, I see.
It was his
There's a lot
ex-wife.
of
They
weird-
divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was even more of a juicier story.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's what they kept saying.
Yeah, we should blame the shooter, man. Your story should have been more juicier. That's why you're not getting any attention.
Yeah, get a better story, dude.
Well, when I heard he was a dancer, I was like, that. You know.
Stop laughing so hard, Nick.
That confirms some of my personal bias.
Yeah, the people that were checking on us were checking to see if it was us.